Hello riders, we are in the Hillbilly Garage today. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I don't know if I posted on Facebook or not, but I know I did on Instagram. I have a couple new project quads here in the Hillbilly Garage. Neither one of these are mine, but one belongs to my friend of mine and one belongs to a guy I work with. But the one is this, I think it's a 2006 TRX400. The other four-wheeler I have is this 2000 Honda 400ex. And this belongs to Dan, who you've seen in some videos before. A couple little things here. We got some parts. He's mainly throwing He's mainly throwing a new axle in the back here, and there's some kind of issue here going on with the wiring harness. As you can see, it wasn't starting, so he was jumping it to start it. Kind of melted the solenoid there, so we're going to replace that. See if we can't figure out what the electrical issues is in the first place. Dan, you may just be guessing here, but this might be part of your electrical problem. I don't really know what's going on here, but you have like what, 3 threads or half a dozen wires actually working. Well, we're gonna have to fix that. And I know he had replaced the starter motor, so it is good, and as far as I know. So that's basically it. We're going to replace the axle. I believe he got new hubs as well. Let's see, we got new bearings, new axle, new bearings, yep, new hubs in the box there. So it shouldn't take too long to get this guy knocked out and running. So we're going to tackle this before we tackle that. Again, the Articat's going to be a pretty big project. Maybe I'll get this done. I got a couple more parts to put on the 350 Warrior of mine. I want to get that done, see if we can't get that rev limiter, which from my research and what people have commented on the video, is that has a parking brake safety switch, that if it senses the parking brakes on, it won't let the machine rev over like 2,500 RPMs or something like that, which is a very common problem with those, I guess. So it's like a 99% chance that's what it is, and all you gotta do to test that is just unplug that. And if it runs, great, we know we got it fixed. So hopefully that's all it is. But I got a new brake cable, I got a new clutch cable for the Warrior, because I don't know if you guys have noticed how hard I've had to squeeze that clutch lever. Again, those cables have that plastic sheathing that goes along the wire, and over time that deteriorates, kind of gets stuck in there and makes it hard to pull. So we're going to replace that. We're going to replace the parking brake cable in case that's doing the same thing, and that's what's holding the parking brake on and tripping the safety switch in that. And I got a new rear brake rotor, because the other one is bent, which I realized when I was replacing the brakes. But we'll get to that later. Right now, let's dig into this. I'm going to pull this battery, get it on the charger. I think it's a good battery, but we'll make sure I get it nice and charged. Get this up, get these wheels off, get these hubs off, get the chain loose, and then we'll start breaking in to this machine to get this axle out. So stick around. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do, hit that like button. If you don't like it, hit that thumbs down, but at least comment on what you didn't like about it, so I know and can improve my videos in the future. So let's get to work, and I'll see you guys in a minute. Well, guys, I don't know if this is a good sign or a bad sign, but holy, I can't get these castle nuts off the hub. I don't know if Dan tweaked them on there that tight, or if they are just seized on there. Sprayed them with PV Blast, but I'm gonna probably have to add a little heat or something to it with a torch, because they just don't want to come. Oh, there it goes. Ah, like I was saying, I got it no problem. Fingers crossed I'll get lucky, because this is the up. Oh, that's a different size. Dan, what are you doing to me? Alright guys, so this castle nut here is not going to budge. It does not want to come off. And I'm a little worried about what I'd find anyway, because you can see where at one point in time they had welded this fast, probably because it's shot. I don't know if this was Dan that did it. This might have been that way when he got it. But luckily, I shouldn't have to because this will come off and this whole axle slides out this way. So luckily I got that one loose and can get it. Since we got new hubs and everything for the new axle, then we're just gonna leave that alone. If I have to get a new castle nut for Dan and throw on there, I actually have one there. It's probably the same size and should fit. So we're not gonna mess with that. I'm done fussing. So we'll take our brake off. Shouldn't have to pull our chain clear loose if I can just get this sprocket unbolted, take the tension off, slide the chain out of the way. It should be fine. Get our rear brake caliper and stuff off, and then we should be able to slide this out and get our bearings out. Guys, now in order to get this axle off, we need to take this axle nut here, work it that way because there is a C-clip in there. Hopefully I can get a good bite. You can see this has been worked on before. Let's see if we can get it to turn by hand. Oh, and this might be what gives us a problem here, guys. I have to brace this up a little bit or something. Turn. Uh-oh. Woo-wee. Well, guys, I'm gonna work at this. If I get it, I'll be back. Alright, guys, I haven't had much success with this. It is on there tight. I can't get it to spin back so I can get that C-clip out. I took this fender or foot guard off. I took the exhaust off. Hopefully now, maybe with the cheater bar, I can get some leverage in here. Let's find out. Oh, come. Oh, boy. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, shoo-wee. I'm still not having much luck. Alright, come on, mister. Oh! Oh, we got movement! We got movement! Yes! We're getting movement. Uh-oh. Why did our movement stop? Come on. You want to come out? Oops. Alright guys, I finally got it. Yay! I got this drove back enough. What it was is what was holding me up, there was this piece of wire here that was shoved back in behind the spacer, which was keeping the threaded collar, which actually comes off as well, out far enough that the castle or the axle nut here was bottoming out on the threads. So once I moved or took that piece of wire out and was able to adjust everything back, I was able to turn this enough. Now you can see I'm at that C-clip. I'll be able to take that off, and then I just work everything back off, and now we should be able then, once that stuff's off, to drive that axle through. Shoo! Had me worried there for a little bit, but we got her. Alright, I just loosened the two bolts here on the back of the skid plate to give me a little play room. And now this should slide it off, and there's our rotor. Now we should just be able to tap this axle back that way. Again, get replaced. You don't have to worry about messing up the ends. How's our rotor look? It looks pretty good. Clean this up a bit before we throw her back on. Oh, we won't even have to tap. She's going to come right out. Work our chain back on the other side of our sprocket here. Not too bad. There we go. And we will pull her out. Oh, voila! Alright, now it's time to get these bearings out of here. Hopefully, I have a slide hammer style bearing remover. This will, you can see it's partially spread there. I have like 4 different sizes that came in the kit, and these start off together, and as you twist this down on, it opens. And the idea is you can come in here and get a hold of the bearing. Then you crank her down, then you use a slide hammer which will attach here on the end to bang it out. However, this guy that I have is supposed to only work up to 1 1/4 inches, and I think these bearings are actually 1.5 inches. So I don't know. It feels like I'm getting a hold. I might have just enough extra play in this to actually get that. At least I'm hoping. We'll find out. If I don't have a hold of it, she'll just come right out without the bearing. Let's see if I got a good enough hold. Fingers crossed I do. Otherwise, I might have to go get make an order on Amazon for a slightly bigger bearing puller. As you can see, this just twists on then. I think I got a pretty good bite. Let's hope. And then you just work it like a slide hammer. And it's just pulling out. So I don't know if this is going to be big enough to get a hold of that or not. Well, when all else fails, find the biggest screwdriver you can find and hope you can pound it out. Well guys, unfortunately I ran into a little bit of snag here with the 4-wheeler. I could not for the life of me get this other side out. I tried pounding it, I tried other actual bearing pullers, and you can see it just kind of came apart, but I could not get it out. I tried every trick in the book that I know, and probably a couple that I just came up with on the spot to try to get it out, and it would not come out. So what I did was I went ahead and just ordered a new one. So you can see here it's just a direct replacement. So we'll go ahead, you see here it has a grease zerk to grease this inner sleeve. We'll go ahead and hit her with the grease gun, get her full of grease, install this new one, and then we should be good to go to throw that new axle in there. So I will see you guys once I get the rear end. So I'll see you guys once I get the rear end back together. So before I go through the new axle in there, I'll give you guys a little side-by-side comparison between the old and the new. As you can see here as we step back, this new one is actually quite a bit longer. I think diameter-wise and stuff, it's the exact same. It looks like here our bracket for our drive chain sprocket is actually quite a bit thicker, so it should be stronger. But the neat thing about this axle is it is adjustable as far as width. It has 2 different size spacers here. So if you want close to stock width, then you can slide that on there and then slide your spacer on the outside, and that'll give you pretty close to stock. If you want to go even wider yet for more stability, well then of course you throw the spacer on first, and then you throw your hub on, and that'll get you even farther out there yet. And then you can put your ring on the other side there to make up the space. Now I'm not sure what Danny wants as far as width, so I will probably just go ahead and set this up as wide as it goes, which is both spacers on the inside, and then your hub, and of course then your castle nut and stuff would go on here. That way he can change it and adjust it however he wants to after he gets it back. If he wants it a little narrower, if he wants it wider. I'm sure he's probably going to want it as wide as can be, so we can do some awesome drifts around the corner. We'll set this up as wide as she'll go for him, and then he can mess with it later. Well guys, we ran into a slight snag here with the parts Dan got. So you can see I have the rear end all back together, and I got the new hub on. However, when I went to go throw the rim on, the bolt pattern is different. I don't know how well you'll be able to tell this at video, but you can see if I line the bottom one up how much they are off by. So Dan apparently got the wrong hubs, or these are the right hubs, and the old ones came off a different model four-wheeler, which is probably more likely the reasoning. These are probably actually the correct ones for the 400ex, and these ones aren't. So I messaged Dan, haven't heard back from him yet, but what I can do is these old ones are still in good shape. The splines in there are still in good shape. So we can throw these old ones back on for time being. However, the one side, if you remember from the tear apart, is actually welded. So I'm going to take and see if I can't grind this weld down and get this side free. And those guys are kind of stuck on there too. I don't know if they're welded, but anyway, I'm going to try to get this old hub off so we can at least get this guy back together for now. Because changing out the hubs is something that Dan can do himself. He's more than capable. So we just want to get this guy running for time being. So I'm going to see if I can't get this hub free. If I can, we'll throw those back on for now, and we can move on and get to working on some of the other stuff this guy needs done. Alright guys, I know my shirt keeps changing color. That's what happens when you work a day job and you can only work for a little bit before you get ready for work. But we did get the other hub cut off of the axle. As you can see, I had to take the cutoff wheel and just kind of cut her down. But it really wasn't worth the effort I put into it, because once I got everything cleaned up and stuff, these splines are absolutely shot. However, that is not that important, because I made an important discovery. While I was here working on the axle, which was there, I have the old rims that were on the hubs on this axle sitting here, and I happened to be looking, and I kind of found the reason why these rims would not fit on the new Honda hubs, and that's because of one 6-letter word. But these rims say Yamaha. So we were trying to put Yamaha rims on a Honda. We're not stuck though, because luckily I did finally get a hold of Dan. He talked to Seth, which had some Honda stuff laying around. So he had a set of Honda rims that we can use. We're just going to take the wheels off of the Yamaha rims, throw them onto these Honda rims. They're a bit bent, but I think we'll be able to make them work. Dan's not too worried about it at the moment. He'll said eventually, if need be, he'll get some new rims. But the main thing is we're back in business. I can get these wheels swapped over and then get them mounted on the 400, and then we can button up this rear end and finally dig in to this giant mess of wiring. And yes, I'm stuffed up. You guys can probably hear the nasalness in my voice. Stinking colds going around all over the place. But anyway, that's not going to keep us from working on this. And plus, I'm not only stoked we can keep working on this guy, but because we do have a good hub off of the old axle from that side, and I just so happen to have a Yamaha Warrior 350 sitting down there that has a shot hub. Well, I just so happen to get myself a new hub that we can throw on Project Wounded Warrior. Alright guys, we got the rear end here all buttoned up, ready to go. Not too bad of a job overall. And one thing, I think I mentioned this, but don't forget, Dan did get a new rear and front sprocket as well as a new chain. So we will be throwing them on, but what we want to do is he's changing the ratio a little bit, going with a different teeth count on his sprockets. We want to see, he's wanting a little more top end, I believe. So we're going to dedicate a whole other video to just switching those out. We're going to do a couple of tests and see what kind of difference it does make in speed and power and all that kind of stuff. So we'll do that on a separate video. But now that we got this rear end done up, next video we're working on this. We're going to see if we can tackle this mess of electrical, get some of these wires replaced, get the new solenoid put in. And we should have this guy up and raring to go. So guys, just want to thank you very much for your support of Appalachian Mountain Riders. Thanks for your subscribing, your likes, your commenting, your support by buying my merchandise, supporting me on Patreon, that I'm able to do these kind of project videos for you. And it's also going to allow me to expand to bigger, better things in the future. So again, guys, I just thank you. It means so much to me that you like my channel well enough to support me like that. And words just can't express how much that means to me. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed this video and working on this 400ex. We'll get the rest of this guy buttoned up in the next video, hopefully. We'll have to pit this guy against Wounded Warrior. Once I get a couple other things done on that, we'll do a little drag racing between the two and see which one's faster. Probably going to be the Honda. Just top of my head guess, but I don't know. We'll see. Again, thanks for watching, and until next time, keep on riding.